Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about Alaska and the cruise tours, specifically with Holland America. I am Tracy from Epik Destinations, and I thank you for joining us. We do have a few people coming in from different streams tonight, so if you are joining us from anywhere other than Zoom, you will not be seeing a chat that is active. So just do know that if you are sending in any questions via your chat, I will not be able to see them from anywhere other than Zoom. So a little bit about our company. We do strive to present destinations that we have been to. So all of the things that you see that we are pushing out there for you guys are places that we have already been. Experiences we have experienced ourselves, either myself or one of the agents in the agency. And we try to vet everybody so that we know our clients are going to have an amazing time when they get there. Holland America is one of those suppliers that we have vetted quite well. A little history about Epik Destinations. I started this business in 2019. Officially opened the doors in February 2020, right before the world took a little bit of a turn. So it's been interesting, but we have persevered and done a lot of travel in the meantime. Why are we different? Well, we are different because we put a huge emphasis on knowing firsthand what we are selling and promoting. We know that spending vacation money, while it is super exciting, it's also hard-earned money. So we want you to make sure that you're happy with your experience and you're getting the maximum value. And the way we do that is by curating trips with suppliers and destinations that we know. So jumping right into the Alaska cruise tour, I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of the days of this cruise tour. So you've probably heard of cruises for sure, but you may not have heard of a cruise tour. So a cruise tour is a combination land and sea experience. There are hundreds and hundreds of options to choose from. So what I'm going to present today is just one of the hundreds of options, but it's one of my favorite options, which is why we have pulled space specifically on this itinerary. One of the highlights of this trip is that everybody does get to experience the 2-level glass domed rail car. So you'll start by flying into Anchorage, Alaska, and flights are not included in the pricing that you're going to see online tonight. But the rest of the information here is going to be included. So this glass domed rail car through the Alaskan wildlife hillside is included, and it's an amazing experience. So you take that from Anchorage to Denali. Day one, when you arrive at Anchorage, you'll spend the night there. And then day two, you're going to set off for Denali National Park in Alaska. You'll spend nights 2 and 3 there in the Denali National Lodge. Now, this lodge is specifically owned and operated by Holland America, which makes your travel absolutely seamless. And it is a beautiful, beautiful destination. You do have rooms already secured once you buy the cruise tour. There are, however, options if you want to add on a balcony and things like that. You can upgrade your room, but just basic rooms are already included. Day 4, you're going to take a motor coach to the cruise port and hop on the cruise for your 7-day Alaska cruise. And do remember, with this cruise tour, you're not having to find your way. You are going to be taken care of by Holland America from the time you land in Alaska until the time you leave to come back home. So the first day of your cruise, you're going to be cruising Hubbard Glacier. Some of these glaciers in Alaska are absolutely amazing. And one of the things that I really love about Holland America is that they've been in Alaska for so long. Alaska is really a tenured destination. So you want to cruise with somebody that has been cruising in Alaska for a long time, because a lot of these glaciers are national parks. So you're not able to not all of the cruise lines are able to access all of these glaciers because they only allow a certain number of cruise vessels in, and also only a certain size. So this ship is going to be the perfect size to get in to all these glaciers that you need to go. And once they are in there, you don't have to worry about which side you're on. The vessels do rotate, so you'll be able to see both sides of the glacier, or whatever happens to be on the opposite side. And if you're lucky, you'll see some calving while you're out there with the glacier. Glacier Bay is an amazing national park, beautiful to watch. You will cruise in there. You'll be able to sit up on the upper decks. They usually have forest rangers that come on board to talk about the wildlife in the area, the glacier calving, all the things you want to know about Alaska. They do pipe that information through the system, through the sound system on the ship, which is amazing. And then also in each cruise cabin, you can access that through your television. So a lot of people like to sit on their own balcony, which is perfectly fine and amazing and private. Grab your lunch, your cocktails, whatever you want. Sit on your own balcony, and you will still be able to hear the announcements that the park rangers are making over the loudspeakers. The next day, you will port in Skagway, Alaska. Now, any of these ports, once you're booked, within the Holland app, you'll be able to see all the cruise excursions that are available within each of these ports, and they vary. Anywhere from taking a helicopter ride to a glacier to actually land on the glacier and walk. You can do dog sledding. You can visit different hiking areas. You can go on guided hikes. You can just rent vehicles and go off on your own. So there are a lot of those options, and I'm always open to those conversations with you. I have experienced many of them myself. I've had many clients on them, so I request a lot of feedback, and I know which ones are good and which ones you might save some money doing on your own. Juneau's another amazing place to stop. There's a marina. You can see, you can drive right up to a glacier, do a hiking trip in Juneau. And with all of these, of course, you're also welcome to stay on the ship. If you choose not to get off, you do not have to get off, but you can walk right off the ship at any of these ports, and you're going to be in a very touristy area that's going to have options for shopping, dining, things like that as well. Ketchikan's another fun, really fun stop, very Alaska-esque when you get off the ship. Lots of little storefronts and unique buildings. Cruising the Inside Passage is an amazing day on board the ship. You can see a lot of rich wildlife. It does depend on the time of year you go, what specifically you're seeing, but you'll see the packages that we do have available, and we can talk about what each specific month of the year is if you're not able to go on one of those dates. Your last day, you're going to end up in Vancouver, British Columbia. This destination, you have two options. So we can either transport you directly back to the airport. You don't have to spend any extra money on a hotel. You can take off for home that day. Or if you want to experience a night or two in Vancouver, we absolutely have options for that too. So reach out to me when you're thinking about booking and what that looks like for you, and we can put together custom trips for that. But in the original cruise package, a night in Vancouver is not included. So I just want you to make sure you know that. Now, in the travel agency industry, what some of us like to do when we have something that we really love, like these cruise tours, is at the beginning of the season, we pull some inventory. And for this particular cruise tour, I had pulled several cabins on actually several different dates, but I only have 3 dates left and a few cabins on each. 2026 is releasing back to the cruise line this Friday, February 6th. So you have to get the bookings done on this. Otherwise, I will not have access to this specific cruise or pricing. They are within blocks that do have great pricing, and they also are not available with the cruise line. Then, of course, I do have 2 options left for 2027 as well, June 3rd through the 13th and June 17th through the 27th next summer in 2027. So those, I do have the ability to retain those for a little bit longer, but you'll be able to see what is available. I know I only have, I think, 1 suite on one of those left, a few balconies, and maybe an insider room or 2. So it is getting limited on what I have on each of those, so I do recommend getting deposits in as quickly as you can. How do you do that? EpikDestinations.com is the prime place to start. If you click on featured trips on EpikDestinations.com, you can see an entire breakdown of every day, all the information we just covered, what is included. And then if you have any questions, you can either book directly online or you can reach out to me, Tracy, Tracy, at EpikDestinations.com, and that is Epik with a K. Or you can reach me by phone at 712-420-9656. Again, don't forget the 2026 cabins. What I have left is going to be released on February 6th. That is this Friday. So be sure to get your booking, your deposit done before that. And I am now going to open it up for questions. Again, remember, if you are streaming from a place other than Zoom, I will not be able to see your questions in the chat.